Hi everyone, my name is Karim Chen. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. I'd like to start off by talking a little bit about my multicultural background and how that's been a major influence on the diversity and scope of my design practice. So I was born in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. My father is Chinese and my mother is Austrian, but I grew up in Bangkok, Thailand. And that's when I was first exposed to design. I took design technology in school, and when Drexel accepted me to their Drexel product design program, I moved to America, and here I am now. So one of the first projects that I did is called Stick and Donuts. And this project shows how we designed, manufactured, marketed, and sold a novelty item for college students. This is in collaboration with Cindy Zhao. So this is basically a playful, decorative desktop accessory that's a magnet that's intended to keep your photographs, your Post-it notes, and just a playful little magnet that you can put on the fridge. But the valuable thing that I learned from this first project was how meaningful it is to collaborate with someone and bounce ideas back and forth with each other, because we would have never gotten to this product without each other's collaboration. And moving on to that, this is called Fetching for Senses. This is a research-based product. It's actually a blue sky project that shows how I took the prompt work and play in the backyard to create my own opportunity statement. And the purpose of this was to change people's perceptions about the aging process for medium to large size canines, because there is indeed a way to improve the aging process for those dogs. So I started off by interviewing pet owners who had backyards, and one of the people that I interviewed, she owned a German Shepherd who was 12 years old at the time back in Thailand. And basically, one of the key aha moments that I got from that was she wanted to spend more time with her pet German Shepherd, but didn't know how to. And so I explored various concepts through a journey map of how the user would come about with the various touch points of this project. And I developed and reimagined a fetch game that I thought would be most appropriate for solving this problem. So I came up with the opportunity statement that I want to create a backyard experience shared by aging dogs and their owners to improve both their well-beings through an educative and playful experience. And through my background, secondary research, I discovered that activating all 5 senses of the dog helps enrich their life and keeps them mentally and physically active, which improves the aging process. And so after I first prototyped and developed this concept of fetching for senses, I brought it to the dog park immediately to test it with random owners to see what kind of feedback I get. And they were able to understand the value and importance of physical therapy for dogs, but also it had a hidden value of being able to help train their dogs for those dogs that were less obedient. So this is the final product. It consists of 3 buckets, a fetch ball, a set of instructions, and a carry bag. And here are some of the features. The ball is actually unscrewable, and you can put treats inside, which activates the dog's sense of smell when it's being thrown, and taste when you reward the dog once it comes back with the ball. And there's also a set of instructions which thoroughly details how to perform physical therapy on your pet. It also comes with a carry case. It's solar powered, includes a yellow LED lights, and I chose the colors yellow and blue because dogs have dichromatic vision of those hues, and that would stimulate their sense of sight. And to stimulate sound, there is a vibrational speaker on the base plate of all buckets. So when the ball is thrown into the bucket, it emits a high-pitched sound, which stimulates the dog's hearing. And in my research, I found that dogs respond and resonate with high-pitched squeaky sounds. So that's what sound that it emanates. Moving on to the next project, this one's called X-Light, collaborative project with Jacob Butler, Shuai Qi Meng, and Corey Richardson, who's not pictured in the photo above. And this was a sponsored project by Hubble's Light Control Division, who sponsored our class to create a pendant light to bring excitement to their industrial design lighting portfolio. And one of my responsibilities was to be a leader in the development of the sketching and form of this project. So here are some of my sketches for possible solutions. And this project was very form and material based. So one of my other responsibilities was rapid prototyping and exploring material and light phenomena. And we did this by using we tested various types of acrylic for lenses, various thicknesses, various textures, frosted, green texture, and we decided to explore edge lighting, as this is a relatively new, unique concept in the lighting industry. And we went ahead and chose the concept that's to your far right. It's a twisted X, hence the name X-Light, because we found that it produced a very elegant curve and was very aesthetically pleasing. And so we actually built this thing full scale. And one of the really nice things about this product is we were actually able to make it modular and exceed our clients' expectations, so they could be set up in various contexts, such as hotel receptions on your bottom left, lobbies in your middle, and then even as a halo pendant for more luxurious lighting on your bottom right for a casino. And here's some of the manufacturing details. This would be CNC'd out of metal and then plated for various finishes to fit various contexts. Last but not least, moving on to my senior thesis, which is something that I'm currently working on and will be finishing up in June in time for the senior thesis presentation. But my senior thesis project aims to create a sense of belonging and build community by leveraging the power of storytelling. So I started off researching by doing various social experiments intended to disrupt public spaces. So I put down tape on the floors, I put up signs for people to say hi to each other, I put up a board where people could write what they cared about the most. I got people to try and interact with each other. I even blindfolded people and got them to have conversations with each other. I found it was very valuable for people to share their stories, and people wanted to share their stories and write their thoughts, and people liked to read those stories and listen to those stories. So one of my last experiments, I wanted to prove that, and I got people to tell a story about where they grew up and put a push pin on the map of where they grew up. And this was extremely valuable because not only did the person who was telling the story feel nostalgic, reminiscent, positive pride when they were sharing the story of where they grew up, but they also were able to gain somebody else's perspective and celebrate the diversity of other stories. And I think this is very important in terms of community building and creating an inclusive environment. So I wanted to test different recording devices, and I had tested a series of bought, made, and found objects. And ultimately, people didn't feel comfortable speaking to inanimate objects, and users wanted a safe space to record their stories. That's why I moved away from a physical device to a space. And therefore, this space is intended to make people feel comfortable. It's semi-private. It opens up to you, which encourages people to walk in and interact. And for those who aren't verbally inclined, on the exterior facade of this installation, there's places where people can write their thoughts, and they're given direct prompts. And this is intended to be in college building lobbies to create a permanent installation to really bring that community together. And I actually built this thing full scale, one of the units on your right, and people really enjoyed being inside it. It made them feel like cozy and warm. And moving on with this next quarter, I'd like to build this full scale, and I have a colleague who will help me, who's in the engineering program of voice activation, which can pick up the recording of people's stories and play people's stories. And with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope to continue using design as a method and means of exploration for solving problems, both on a societal and individual level, and I'm excited to see where design takes me next. Thank you.